Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel. Today's crochet tutorial is part 2 of the Flowers in the Sand Afghan. Now for part 2 we're going to start on round 12. Part 1 we worked rounds 1 through 11 and now round 12 we're going to start with the color Walnut. This is color number 114V. So grab your yarn. We're going to be using a size H8 or 5mm hook and we'll begin round 12. Now I did fasten off here, so what I'll do is I'm just going to go in where I fastened off on round 11. I'm going to insert right at the base of my knot into that top chain of that joining stitch, and then I'm going to yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on my hook. We're going to begin and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Our beginning chain 3 will count as our first double crochet. Now for this round we're going to work 1 double crochet in the top of each stitch around. Now I want to remind everyone all my videos are filmed using USA crochet terms. You're going to yarn over the hook, insert into the top of the next stitch under the top 2 loops, yarn over, pull through that stitch. You have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. That is how you make a double crochet. Double crochet into the top of the next stitch, double crochet into the top of the next stitch, double crochet into the top of the next stitch. Continue and work 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 12. I'm over at the end of round 12. We just worked 1 double crochet in each stitch around and we have a total of 150 stitches. Our stitch count stayed the same. So this is what your work should look like. So now I'm going to zoom up and we're going to join with the slip stitch into the top of our beginning chain 3. Count up 1, 2, 3. Insert into the top of that beginning chain 3, yarn over, pull through that chain, and pull through the loop on your hook. So round 12 is finished. I'm going to fasten off my work, and when I fasten off, I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. So go ahead, weave in your ends. So now since we finished off, I just wanted to give you a measurement to see if we're all about at the same measurement. At the end of round 12, your circle should measure about 15 inches in diameter from one side across to the other side. So now we're ready to begin round 13. So round 13, we're going to switch to this beautiful lemonade, color number 157. So grab your lemonade yarn and let's begin round 13. So now we're ready to begin round 13. So I already have my lemonade attached to my hook and I just used a double knot. So I'm going to go back up to where I fastened off. Now I did not weave in my ends. I'm going to go back and do that 2 or 3 rows later because it just helps me find the beginning of the next round. We're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that top of that joining stitch where we fastened off. Again, I already have my yarn attached to my hook and I'm going to slip stitch through that top of that beginning joining stitch and through the loop on my hook. To begin the round, we're going to work a popcorn stitch. Now the beginning popcorn stitch is worked differently because we have to chain 3 for our first double crochet. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and again that chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. We're going to work 4 more double crochet all into that same stitch at the top of that beginning joining stitch, yarn over, insert back into that same space, and work 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when you look at your work, you'll have your beginning chain 3 and 4 double crochet. You want to pull up on your hook, make a loop, take your hook out, come back to the top of that beginning chain 3, insert into the top of that chain, and then bring your hook over, insert it into that drop loop, and then tighten up your loop. And then what I like to do is I like to pinch those stitches together, and then you're going to pull that loop through that first stitch. And then you're going to chain 2. 1, 2. So we just made our first beginning popcorn stitch. And then we're going to skip this next stitch. So when you're making those popcorn stitches, make sure that you're looking and you're skipping the correct stitch. Because if this popcorn stitch goes over that stitch and you skip this stitch instead and work in this stitch, then it's not going to come out right, and you're not going to know unless you rip the round out until you find your mistake. So just make sure you're always pulling that popcorn stitch back over and skipping the next stitch. So let's go ahead and begin our repeat. We already skipped this next stitch, so our repeat starts in the next stitch where we're going to make a popcorn stitch. We're going to work 5 double crochet into that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to pull up a loop. You're going to come over to the very first double crochet of the 5 double crochet group, insert your hook into that first stitch, then insert your hook into the drop loop, tighten up that loop, pinch your stitches together and pull that loop through that first stitch. You're going to chain 2. You're going to skip the next stitch and start your repeat in the next stitch. Yarn over the hook, again you skip this stitch, insert into that next stitch and work 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop, take your hook out, come back to the very first double crochet of that 5 double crochet group, insert your hook, and then insert your hook into the drop loop, tighten that loop up, pinch your stitches together and pull that loop through that first stitch. And then you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. You're going to skip the next stitch and start your repeat into the next stitch. So I'll show you one more time. Yarn over the hook, you already skipped this stitch, go into the next stitch and work 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop, take your hook out, come back to that very first stitch of the 5 stitch group, insert your hook into that drop loop, tighten up your loop, pinch your stitches together and pull that loop through that first stitch. You're going to chain 2. You're going to skip the next stitch and start your repeat into this next stitch. So go ahead and continue. If you need additional help, just click back on the video. You already skipped this stitch. You're going to work a popcorn stitch into the next stitch and chain 2. Skip the next stitch, work a popcorn stitch in the next stitch, and chain 2. And you're going to repeat that around. I'll meet you at the end of round 13. I'm over at the end of round 13. We just worked our popcorn stitch, chain 2, and skip the stitch around our work. So you should have 75 popcorn stitches and 75 chain 2 spaces around your work. So now we're going to join with the slip stitch into the top of that beginning popcorn stitch. So when you get to the end of round 13, you're going to have 1 stitch remaining. We're skipping that stitch and we're going to join with the slip stitch into the top of that beginning popcorn stitch. You also have a chain 2 space. So you worked your popcorn, chain 2, and skip that last stitch. You're going to insert right down through the top center of that popcorn stitch. You're going to yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. We are now done with our lemonade, so we're just going to fasten off our yellow. I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. Now we're ready to begin round 14. Now 14, we're going to switch to our pound of love. We're using the antique white. This is color number 099 antique white. So grab your antique white and let's begin round 14. I have my antique white attached to my hook and I just used a double knot. We're going to go into any chain 2 space. So just grab your work and in any chain 2 space between the popcorn stitches, we're going to slip stitch our yarn. Insert under any chain 2 space, yarn over, pull back underneath that chain 2 space and pull through the loop on your hook. We're going to begin round 14 with the chain 1. Now this beginning chain 1 does not count as a stitch. You're going to single crochet back into that same chain 2 space, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. So again, you have your beginning chain 1, a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet all into that first chain 2 space. We're going to skip the next popcorn stitch and we're going to work a single crochet into the next chain 2 space, a chain 2, and then a single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. So what we're doing is we're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in each chain 2 space around, skipping the popcorn stitches. Let's do it again. You're going to skip the next popcorn stitch, insert under the next chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. You're going to skip the next popcorn stitch, insert underneath the next chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. I'll show you one more time. You're going to skip the next popcorn stitch, insert underneath the next chain 2 space, work a single crochet. You're going to chain 2, then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space, and then skip the next popcorn stitch. So go ahead and continue, work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into each chain 2 space around, skipping the popcorn stitches. If you need additional help, just click back on the video. I'll meet you at the end of round 14. I'm over at the end of row 14. This is what your work should look like. We worked a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in each chain 2 space around, and you should have a total of 75 single crochet V-stitches. So now we're going to go up and join in the top of the beginning single crochet of that first single crochet V-stitch, insert under the top 2 loops, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. So now we're ready to begin round 15. We're going to be using our antique white, so we're just going to slip stitch into the beginning chain 2 space. So you're skipping that first single crochet, insert underneath the chain 2 space, yarn over, pull back through, and pull through the loop on your hook. Now we're ready to begin round 15. You're going to chain 1, you're going to insert back into that chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, insert back into that same chain 2 space and work a single crochet. So when you look at your work, you'll have your beginning chain 1, a single crochet, a chain 2, and a single crochet all into that first chain 2 space. For this round, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around. So let's begin. You're going to jump over to your next single crochet V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. And that is the end of the repeat. Go to your next V-stitch. You're going to insert into the center chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same space. And that is the end of the repeat. I'll show you one more time. Find your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. And that is the end of the repeat. So very easy repeat for this round. So go ahead and continue, work a single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet into the chain 2 space of each shell stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 15. I'm over at the end of round 15. This is what your work should look like, and you should have a total of 75 V-stitches around. So now we're going to go up and join. We're going to join with a slip stitch into that first single crochet of the first V-stitch, insert under the top 2 loops, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. Round 15 is finished. So now for round 16, we're just going to repeat round 15. We're going to skip that first stitch and we're going to slip stitch into the next chain 2 space. Insert under the chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through that space and through the loop on your hook. Now we're ready to begin round 16. You're going to chain 1. And this beginning chain 1 does not count as a stitch. You're going to single crochet back into that chain 2 space, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. And then we're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around. So let's begin. You're going to go to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. Let's do it again. Find your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. Let's do it one more time together. Find your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. And that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue and work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 16. I'm over at the end of round 16. We just worked a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in each chain 2 space around, and you still have a total of 75 single crochet V-stitches around. So now we're going to join our round, so let me zoom up. We're going to join with the slip stitch into that first single crochet, insert under the top 2 loops of the first single crochet of the first V-stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. So now we are done with our antique white. So I'm just going to fasten off. And when I fasten off, I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, and pull down. And it creates a secure knot. Round 16 is finished. Now we're ready to begin round 17. So we're going to switch and we're going to use our sage green. This is color number 173A. So grab your sage green and let's begin round 17. To begin round 17, I'm going back to where I fastened off. I'm going to skip that very first single crochet and I'm going to join my sage green with a slip stitch in that first chain 2 space. Insert underneath the chain 2 space, yarn over, pull back through and through the loop on your hook. This just creates a nice secure join of your yarn. You're going to chain 1. You're going to single crochet back into that same chain 2 space, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same space. So when you look at your work, you'll have your beginning chain 1, single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet all into that beginning chain 2 space. So now we're just going to repeat and work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around. So let's begin. Go to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same space. Let's do it again. Go to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. Go to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. So go ahead and continue and work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 17. I'm over at the end of round 17. This is what your work looks like. We just worked 1 single crochet V-stitch in the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around. You still have the same stitch count of 75 V-stitches around. So now all we have to do is join our round together. We're going to insert our hook right in the top of that beginning single crochet under the top 2 loops. You're going to yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. So now we are done with the sage green, so I'm just going to fasten off. I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, and pull down. So round 17 is finished. Now we're going to switch to our baby pink. This is color number 101F. So grab your baby pink and let's begin round 18. So now we're ready to begin round 18. I have my baby pink attached to my hook and we're going to join with a slip stitch into that very first chain 2 space. We're inserting underneath the chain 2 space of that first V-stitch and slip stitch, yarn over, pull underneath and around that chain 2 space and through the loop on your hook. Now we're going to begin and we're going to work a half double crochet 2 together into this chain 2 space. You're going to yarn over, insert into that same chain 2 space, yarn over and pull back through. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, insert back into that same space, yarn over and pull through. So when you look at your hook, you're going to have a total of 5 loops, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on your hook. Your half double crochet 2 together is made. you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's do the repeat again. You're going to yarn over the hook, come over to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops. Yarn over the hook, insert back into that same space, yarn over and pull through. You have 5 loops. Yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on your hook. You're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it again. You're going to yarn over the hook, go to your next V-stitch, insert under the top 2 loops of that stitch, yarn over and pull underneath the chain 2 space. You have 3 loops. Yarn over, insert back underneath that chain 2 space, yarn over and pull back through. You have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on your hook. Your half double crochet 2 together is made. You're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it one more time. You're going to yarn over, go to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, yarn over and pull back through. You have 3 loops. Yarn over, insert back into that same chain 2 space, yarn over and pull back through. You have 5 loops. Yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on your hook. Your half double crochet 2 together is made, and you're going to chain 3. And that is the end of the repeat. If you need additional help, just click back on the video. Again, you're going to work a half double crochet 2 together into the chain 2 space of that next V-stitch, and then chain 3. Half double crochet 2 together into the chain 2 space of the next V-stitch, and chain 3. You're going to repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 18. I'm over at the end of round 18. You should have a total of 75 half double crochet 2 together, these little puff stitches, and 75 chain 3 spaces. So now we're going to go up and join our round together. Now when you ended your round, you should have your half double crochet 2 together, your chain 3, and then we're going over to our beginning first puff stitch. So to join, if you look at your puff stitch, we want to go to the top left side of that stitch. So here's the top, but we're going to join in the space right here on the left side. Insert into that space, then slip stitch, yarn over, pull through that space, and pull through the loop on your hook. So we are done with the baby pink, so I'm going to fasten off. So round 18 is finished. We're going to weave in our ends as we go, and then we're going to grab our pound of love. We're going to use the antique white for our next color. So this is color 099 antique white. So grab your antique white and let's begin round 19. So now we're ready to begin round 19. I have my antique white attached to my hook, and we're going to join in any chain 3 space. It doesn't matter which one. You're going to insert underneath the chain 1 space, yarn over, pull it underneath and around that chain space and through the loop on your hook. We're going to begin and we're going to chain 1. The beginning chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now we're going to work a single crochet back into the chain 3 space. Then we're going to work a double crochet 2 rounds below between the current shell and the next shell. You're going right between those 2 single crochet stitches. Yarn over the hook, bring your hook to the front of your work, drop down 2 rounds, 1, 2, go between the first current shell and the next shell, right between those 2 single crochet stitches, yarn over, pull back through, you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now you're just going to move those stitches over and we're going to work a single crochet back in to that same chain 3 space on the left side of that double crochet just made. Insert underneath the same chain 3 space, work a single crochet. So we're working a total of 3 stitches in each chain 3 space around. We're going to work the single crochet into the chain 3 space, a double crochet between the 2 V stitches below, and then a single crochet back into that chain 3 space. So let's go ahead and do the repeat. You're going to insert underneath the next chain 3 space, work a single crochet. You're going to work a double crochet 2 rounds below between the current V stitch and the next V stitch, right between those 2 single crochet stitches. Yarn over, bring your hook to the front of your work, drop down 2 rounds, 1, 2, go right between the V stitches, work your double crochet, and you're working over the top chain 3 space as well. Then if you have to, just move your stitches over, and you're going to work a single crochet on the left hand side of the double crochet just made in the chain 3 space. Insert underneath the chain 3 space, work a single crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it again. Go to your next chain 3 space, work a single crochet into that chain 3 space, work a double crochet 2 rounds below, 1, 2, between the V stitches, and then single crochet back into the chain 3 space on the left side of the double crochet just made. Let's do it again. Go to your next chain 3 space, insert underneath the chain 3 space, work a single crochet. Double crochet 2 rounds below, 1, 2, between the 2 V stitches, right in the center between those single crochets, work a double crochet. Then you're going to come back up and work a single crochet on the left side of that double crochet just made into that same chain 3 space. So I'll show you one more time, and then you can continue on your own. You're going to single crochet into the next chain 3 space, double crochet 2 rounds below, 1, 2, in between the current V stitch and the next V stitch, between those 2 single crochets, work your double crochet. Then you're going to single crochet back into that same chain 3 space. So again, you're working 3 stitches over that chain 3 space. So go ahead and continue, work a single crochet into the next chain 3 space, a double crochet 2 rounds below between the current V stitch and the next V stitch, and then a single crochet back into that chain 3 space. If you need additional help, just click back on the video. I'll meet you at the end of round 19. I'm over at the end of round 19. This is what your mandala should look like so far. Now, I haven't showed you the back of our project, so this is the front, and when you flip it over, this is what the back of your Afghan's going to look like. So round 19, we're over to where we started, so let me zoom up. So again, we're over at the end of round 19. So you did your last repeat in and around that chain 3 space, and then you have your little puff stitch here. So we're skipping our puff stitch and we're going to join into that first single crochet. Insert your hook under the top 2 loops of that first single crochet, and then slip stitch your round together. So we're going to continue using our antique white for the next round. So let's begin round 20. To begin round 20, we're going to skip our joining stitch here. We're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Insert under the top 2 loops, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. You're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Insert under the top 2 loops, yarn over, pull through, and pull through your hook. We're going to begin with the chain 1. Now this beginning chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Insert back into the top of that single crochet, work a single crochet. You're going to chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same stitch. So when you look at your work, you chained 1, and then you have a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet all into that same stitch. So now we're ready to begin our repeat. Very simple repeat for this round. You're going to skip the next 2 stitches, insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same stitch. And that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it again. You're going to skip the next 2 stitches, insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same stitch. And that is the end of the repeat. Skip the next 2 stitches, insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same stitch. I'll show you one more time and then you can continue. Skip the next 2 stitches, insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same stitch. So go ahead and continue. You're going to skip the next 2 stitches, insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same stitch. So if you need additional help, just click back on the video, repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 20. I'm over at the end of round 20. This is what our work should look like. So now we're getting ready to join. So you should have a total of 75 V-stitches around. So when you get over to the end of your round, you're going to have 2 stitches remaining. We're going to skip those 2 stitches and we're going to slip stitch into the top of this first single crochet stitch. Insert under the top 2 loops, slip stitch through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. So now we're ready to begin round 21. To begin round 21, we're going to skip that first single crochet. You're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space. You're going to chain 1. You're going to single crochet back into that same chain 2 space, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. So what we're going to do is we're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around. So let's begin the repeat. You're going to go to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then insert back into that same chain 2 space and work a single crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. Go to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. Let's do it again. Go to your next V-stitch, insert into the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same chain 2 space. So go ahead and continue and work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the chain 2 space of the next V-stitch. You're going to repeat that around and I'll meet you at the end of round 21. So I'm over at the end of round 21. You should have a total of 75 V-stitches around. And our mandala center should measure about 20 inches in diameter across the center of our circle. So I worked my V-stitch in the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around. I worked in the last V-stitch and now we're going to join. You're going to insert your hook under the top 2 loops of the first single crochet and then slip stitch through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. So we are now done with our antique white. So I'm going to fasten off. Again, I like to chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. So go ahead and weave in your ends. So now we're ready to begin round 22. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these colors and come back out again. So the next color we're going to use is Sienna. It's color number 118E. So grab your Sienna and let's begin round 22. To begin round 22, I already have my Sienna attached to my hook. So to join my yarn, I'm going to the very first V-stitch. I'm going to insert under the chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through that space, and pull through the loop on my hook. We're going to begin with the chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to work 3 triple back into that same chain 2 space. Yarn over the hook twice, insert from front to back through that chain 2 space, yarn over, pull back through. You have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. You just made your first triple crochet. So I'm just going to pull that over and I'm going to work 2 more stitches in that same chain 2 space. Yarn over the hook twice, insert back into that same chain 2 space, and work 2 triple crochet. That's 1. And 2. Now we're ready to begin our repeat. Our repeat, we're going to work 4 triple stitches in the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around. So let's begin the repeat. You're going to yarn over twice, insert into the chain 2 space of the next V-stitch, and then work 4 triple crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is the end of the repeat. Let's do the repeat again. You're going to yarn over the hook twice, go to your next V-stitch, insert under the chain 2 space, and work 4 triple crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll show you one more time. Yarn over the hook twice, go to your next V-stitch, and work 4 triple crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue. You're going to work 4 triple crochet into the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 22. I'm over at the end of round 22. This is what your work should look like. We worked 4 triple crochet in the chain 2 space of each V-stitch around, and you should have a total of 300 triple crochet around your work. So again, when you look at your work, you can see that we worked 4 triple in the chain 2 space of each V-stitch round. I worked in my last V-stitch, and now I'm going to join. I'm going to count up to the top of the beginning chain 4, count up 1, 2, 3, 4, insert into the top of that chain, yarn over, pull through that chain, and pull through the loop on your hook. So now we are done with our Sienna color. I'm just going to fasten off. I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, and pull down. So now we're ready to work round 23. So we're going to switch to our honey brown. This is color number 134U, honey. So grab your honey yarn and let's begin round 23. Now we're ready to begin round 23. I have my honey yarn attached to my hook. I'm going to go back up to our joining chain 4, right where you fastened off. I'm going to insert my hook into the top chain of that joining chain 4. I'm going to slip stitch through that chain and through the loop on my hook. We're going to begin and we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your beginning chain 4 counts as your first triple crochet. Now we're going to work a front post triple around the post of this next stitch. Yarn over twice, bring your hook to the front of your work, insert from front to back, back to front around the post of that stitch, yarn over, pull underneath and around. You have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. You just made a front post triple. Now we're going to start our repeat. We're going to work a triple crochet into the top of the next stitch. Now we're going to work a front post triple around the post of this next stitch, yarn over twice, bring your hook to the front of your work, insert from front to back, back to front around the post of that stitch, yarn over, pull back through. You have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. You just made your front post triple, and that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it again. Triple crochet into the top of the next stitch, front post triple around the post of the next stitch, yarn over twice, bring your hook to the front of the work, insert from front to back, back to front underneath that post of that next stitch, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. You just made your front post triple. Let's do it again. Triple crochet into the top of your next stitch, and then front post triple around the post of your next stitch. You're going to repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 23. I'm over at the end of row 23. This is what your work should look like, and you should still have a total of 300 stitches around. So now we're going to go ahead and join our round together. We're going to join in the top of that beginning chain 4. Our first chain is down here. Count up 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert into the top of that beginning chain 4, yarn over, pull through that chain, and pull through the loop on your hook. So we are now done with the honey yarn, so we're just going to fasten off. I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, and pull down. So round 23 is finished. Now we're ready to begin round 24. And for round 24, we're going to switch to our beech color. It's color number 116H, Beech. Now I did forget to mention, because we're using so many different color browns, it's best that once you're done using the color, put the label back over the skein so you can keep your colors straight. So let's go ahead and begin round 24. So now we're ready to begin round 24. I already have my beech attached to my hook, and we're going to join with a slip stitch right at the top of this joining chain 4. Right where I fastened off, I'm going to go right underneath that knot into the top chain of that joining chain 4. It's a little tight because I have my knot there. I'm going to slip stitch, yarn over, pull through that chain, and then pull through the loop on our hook. We're going to begin the round with the chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Our beginning chain 4 counts as the first triple crochet. Now we're going to work a front post triple around the post of this next front post triple. Yarn over twice, bring your hook to the front of your work, insert from front to back, back to front around the post of that stitch, yarn over, pull underneath and around. You have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You just made your front post triple. Now we're ready to begin our repeat. You're going to work a triple crochet into the top of the next stitch, and now we're going to work a front post triple around the next front post triple. Yarn over twice, bring your hook to the front of your work, insert from front to back, back to front underneath the post of that stitch, yarn over, pull underneath and around. You have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You just made your front post triple. So that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it again. Triple crochet into the top of the next stitch, front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. You're going to yarn over twice, bring your hook up to the front of your work, insert from front to back, back to front around the post of the stitch, yarn over, pull underneath and around. You have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue. You're going to triple crochet into the top of the next stitch, and then you're going to front post triple around the post of the next front post triple. And that is the end of the repeat. If you need additional help, just click back on the video. You're going to repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 24. I'm over at the end of round 24, and you can see our circle is getting a lot larger. It's starting to get too big to fit on my table. Now, if you measure from this side across the center and over to the other side, it should measure about 25 inches in diameter. So now round 24 is finished. You should have a total of 300 stitches around, and all we need to do is join our round together. I finished my last repeat, and when you look at your work, now this might be bent over a little bit. I already worked in this stitch here with that beginning chain 4, so we're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 4. Count up 1, 2, 3, 4, insert your hook, and then slip stitch through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. So we are now done with our beech, so I'm just going to fasten off. I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, and pull down. So round 24 is finished. Now we're getting ready to start round 25, and round 25 we're going to switch to the birch. You're going to get color number 115L birch. So grab your yarn and let's begin round 25. So now we're ready to begin round 25, and round 25 we're just going to repeat round 24. So I'm just going to do a few stitches, and because I already went into detail and showed you how to do a front post triple, I'm just going to work my stitches. So let's go ahead and join our yarn. I'm going back up to where I fastened off, right in that joining chain 4. So what you want to do is right where you fastened off, go right in the top of that joining chain 4, insert your hook, and then slip stitch through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. We're going to begin, and we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our beginning chain 4 counts as the first triple stitch. Then we're going to work a front post triple around the post of the next front post triple. And then we start our repeat. You're going to work 1 triple crochet into the top of the next stitch, a front post triple around the next front post triple, going around the post of that stitch, and then working your front post triple. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it a couple more times together. Triple crochet into the top of the next stitch, front post triple around the post of the next front post triple. Let's do it again. Triple crochet into the top of the next stitch, and then front post triple around the post of the next front post triple. So we're doing exactly what we did in the previous round. So go ahead and continue. You're going to work 1 triple crochet into the top of the next stitch, and then a front post triple around the post of this next front post triple. You're going to repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 25. I'm over at the end of round 25. We just got done working with our birch color, and you should have a total of 300 stitches. We have to finish our round by joining. I finished the round by working a front post triple around that ending front post triple, and then I'm back over to my beginning chain 4. So we're going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert your hook into the top of that beginning chain 4, and then slip stitch through that chain and through the loop on your hook. Round 25 is finished. We are done with our birch color. So I'm just going to fasten off. So we're over at the end of round 25. Round 25 is finished. You should have a total of 300 stitches around, and I'm going to end part 2 here. In part 3, we're going to continue with the design and bring these flowers out to the outside. So I hope to see you in part 3. I'll be posting that video in just a couple days, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time I post a video. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button. So until next time, stay inspired and happy crocheting.